Hey, it's Leonardo from Leonardo's Lab, and today we're going to be checking up on our friend Jerry the Owl. Right, so when we sneak up on him, we gotta be real quiet. What? You've been made of plastic this whole time? Come on, guys, let's go see some real owls. Hi, my name is Leonardo Greco, and today we're going to be interviewing someone from the International Owl Center in Houston, Minnesota.
Andy Harvo from the International Owl Center.
What does your organization do?
So we are all about owl education and making the world a better place for owls. So a lot of what we do is just teaching people about owls, and we do have a few owl ambassadors here so that you can make connections with those owls and get to see them nice and up close. Because one of the big draws and one of the big things that makes them scary is that they're very mysterious. People just don't get to see them very often. So all about owl education here.
Why do you have these owls here?
That is a great question. So all of our owls are captive born, captive raised, and we do that so that they're really comfortable being around people. We have used wild born young owls that came in as babies, so within about the first 6 months or so, as education birds, and they work really well. But the problem with that is they do often have lingering health consequences from that. So for example, our retired great horned owl, Alice, she actually fell out of the nest at about 3 weeks old and dislocated her elbow so badly she would never be able to fly. Because of that initial injury, she actually has a higher chance of arthritis or pain in that initial injury site. She's also at an increased risk for arthritis in her legs because she can never get her weight off of them like she naturally should. She's actually at an increased risk for something called bumblefoot, which is basically a staph infection in the foot that can be lethal if you don't catch it early enough. So that might not seem like a lot, but it is an exponential increase from what a healthy owl would have. So by having them captive born, captive raised, we can make sure that they're really comfortable being around people, but they're not going to have those same health consequences that a bird that came into captivity very early on from the wild would have.
If you have an injured owl, what should you do?
That is a fantastic question. If you find an orphaned or injured owl, the best thing to do is call a rehab center. You can call a facility like us. We can often help you get in contact with people who can help you or help you get it transported up to where it needs to go. Other options can even be humane societies, your conservation officer. If you do call officers like police or anything like that, make sure you're not calling the emergency line. They don't want you dialing that. But they sometimes can help you get into contact. Sometimes your vets and things can help you locate people to talk to. Depending on where you are, like here in Minnesota, the big one you can call is the Raptor Center up in the Twin Cities. But there are a lot of resources out there. But the best thing to do is to call one of those places first and foremost.
Do owls make different sounds?
They do. So different owls, different species make different sounds. So some of them are really fun and really recognizable. So great horned owls do the classical owl hoot. And one of the fun things about owl calls is a lot of them we can learn to mimic ourselves. Okay. So the great horned owl does the who's awake, I am, or skip to my loo, who. So I'll do it once, and then do you want to do it with me? Mm-hmm. All right. So that's the who. Ready? Who. Eastern screech owls are also around here. They also do some really cute calls, but they don't screech. You'd think they screech because they're called screech owls, but they're not, or they don't. Instead, they do a little whinny, like a little tiny horse up in a tree. So it's this really cute little.
How special is an owl's eyesight?
That's a really good question. So owls have really special eyes that help them be able to see well in the dark. So here is actually a model of an owl's eye. And one of the really big things that make them different from our eyes is our eyes are actually spheres. their eyes are actually tubes, and their eyes have bones in in them. We don't. Our eyes are just soft and squishy, but they actually have this sclerotic ring, which is this ring of bones in their eyeballs that help increase the focal length, so keep them longer, but also support the eye and actually support the shape of the face. So the owl's face here, part of that structure is actually because of the eyeball. So if I were to take my finger and stick it right into this owl's ear, I'd actually be touching the skin on the side of its eye. That's how big their eyes and their ears are. Now, on top of that, they have a cornea, just like we are, which is a fluid-filled dome that kind of protects the eye and the external parts and focuses light in there. Then they've got the iris, which is that yellow part in there. And with owls, they can be yellow, brown, or orange-eyed. And fun fact about North American owls, we don't have any native orange-eyed owls. Any owl you see in North America with orange eyes is not from here. They're from somewhere else. So orange-eyed owls, not found in North America. So that iris is a muscle that actually goes and expands and contracts that pupil, and will control how much light goes in, just like our eyes do. And then on top of that, you can actually open it up, and this would be their lens. And in owls, that's actually a fluid-filled ball that changes shape and focuses light onto the retina, so this part back here. In ours, our lenses are made of the same material as like your nail. So ours are hard and don't work quite like that. So they have a whole bunch of really neat things in their eyes. The other cool thing about owl eyes that help them see really well in the dark that I can't really show on my model here is they actually have more rods or light sensing cells in their eyes than we do. So they can see in the dark super well, but we can see color much better than they can. Other fun fact about owl eyes, we control our pupils at the same time. So if you look at somebody, their pupils are going to be about the same size. Owls can actually control them independently of each other. So you can see an owl with one pupil that's kind of big and one pupil that's kind of small, and that's fine for them. That's normal.
My name is Carla Bloom, and I'm the executive director of the Owl Center here. This is Piper, the American barn owl. And first she's going to probably kind of squint her eyes and look at you like, I'm not really looking at you, but I'm looking at you. And then once she realizes you're not going to eat her or be too scary, then she'll kind of chill out and stand up. And then she'll do the barn owl thing where she rocks back and forth. But it'll take her just a few minutes to kind of chill out a little bit.
Right.
So do you have any questions about Piper?
Does she have like a heart shape thing on her head? Like,
Barn owls have these really cool, her facial disc, and in a barn owl it is shaped like a heart, very much like a heart.
Wow.
And what's interesting, she'll let me touch her head because she thinks I'm her mate. If you tried it, woo, it would not be good. Because I can touch her head, you can see that the head feathers are very soft and floofy, and she likes this because this is like her mate preening her. But you can see that heart shape is these really stiff feathers around the side, and she likes having them rubbed. But those really stiff feathers are really densely packed, and it's just like taking your hand and putting it behind your ear to hear better. And that's exactly what that facial disc is for her. It's like cupping a hand behind your ear to hear better. But she's got these feathers on her face that are in front of her facial disc, but those white feathers on her face don't zip together like this. They're open, so the sound goes through those feathers, hits the cup, her facial disc, and then it goes into the holes on the side of her head. And in barn owls, one ear is lower and one ear is higher. And they also have a flap of skin that adjusts and can focus that sound into that ear hole. So barn owls have extremely good hearing as far as owls go, and they can catch prey without even seeing it in complete darkness.
Whoa, that was a hoot. What are all these pictures for?
So as part of our International Festival of Owls, we have an International Kids Art Contest. So we get kids from all over the world that send us art to participate in it. So we get a lot of entries from Hong Kong and China. We often get art from Russia and Ukraine, Poland, Sri Lanka, Thailand, even here in the US, we just get tons of entries. In fact, this year we got over 2,000 entries from a bunch of different countries all over. So we do get a lot of participation. We do hold it every year. It's for kids 18 and under. And we typically start accepting entries in August all the way up until January 15th.
Thanks so much for meeting with me today.
And thanks for coming to the Owl Center, and everybody else can come visit us too, right here in the middle of Houston, Minnesota, right in the middle of town on Cedar Street. We're open Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and Mondays from 10 until 5 in the summer, 10 till 4 in the rest of the year.
Thanks everybody for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. This place was a hoot.